Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. My goal in my small allotted time of the hour is to give an overview of genetic testing and genetic counseling. So, genetic testing is the actual process of looking at a person's DNA. And so, in this room, we're specifically talking about one gene, the prion disease gene, which is PRNP. And genetic testing is I say this a lot, it's kind of like doing a spell check on that gene. So it's reading through that gene like you'd read a book or an instruction manual, and it's looking for changes in the gene. It's looking for whether or not there's that specific mutation that's causing the predisposition for genetic prion disease. And so if we find one of those mutations, that's what we call a positive result. If we don't find any of those mutations, that's what we call a negative result. Sometimes we find something that's a bit uncertain. We call those uncertain results. And so you can see everything gets complicated pretty quickly. Blood, saliva, even cheek swab samples can be used for genetic testing to get that DNA sample, depending on the lab you're using. And then genetic counseling is all of the discussions surrounding the choice to get genetic testing, whether or not you want to get genetic testing. And if you do, how do we interpret those results for you and your family? And your genetic counselor really should be your partner, is your partner throughout that journey. So, common topics that come up in genetic counseling is really trying to distill all of the information you're hearing today with, okay, well, how does that apply to you? So, what information can you learn from genetic testing and what can't it tell you? So, what do we know, but also what do we not know? What are the implications of getting a positive or a negative genetic test result? Is genetic testing the right decision for you? And even is now the right time to get genetic testing? And so the goal of genetic counseling is always to walk you through these really complex topics that you're going to hear about today and through the rest of the weekend, answer your questions the best we can based on what we know right now, and help you make the best decision for you. And I will say that decision's not the same for everyone. If there was one right answer, my job would be a lot easier. Your thought process would be a lot easier, but that's not the case. So when thinking about those implications of genetic testing, for someone who has prion disease, a positive genetic test result confirms that they have genetic prion disease. And that also tells us that other people in their family are at risk to share that same mutation. We got the basics of genetics, the dominant inheritance, the 50-50 chance for children and siblings. Whereas a negative genetic test result confirms that that person actually has sporadic prion disease and other family members are not at risk. For someone who is approaching genetic testing because they have a family history of prion disease, a positive result tells them that they do have an increased risk to get genetic prion disease in the future. But again, how high is that risk? That goes back to penetrance, which is it depends on the mutation that we find. And also, like Dr. Minkill mentioned, a positive result is not a crystal ball that tells us exactly what's going to happen in the future. It doesn't tell us if, it doesn't tell us when, it just gives us that increased risk, that likelihood. A negative genetic test result for that person with a family history tells us that that person has an average risk to develop sporadic prion disease in the future. And so I can never give a 0% risk to anyone, even with negative genetic test results, but we know that that risk is much, much lower. With genetic counseling for individuals who are healthy, who have that family history, we call this pre-symptomatic or predictive genetic testing. deciding whether or not to get genetic testing is not an easy choice. We do consider it predictive. Like I mentioned, it predicts who's in that high risk group versus who's in that low risk group. And so some people are struggling with, well, is it better to know or is it better not to know? Will genetic test results, whether they're positive or negative, is that going to lead to a lot of distress, a lot of psychological distress throughout your lifetime? Or is it going to provide some relief from uncertainty? And maybe it's a little bit of both. And so, like I said, these are not easy questions to answer. And that's why there's no right answer. There's only the answer that's right for you today. For individuals who do want to seek that type of genetic testing, I always talk about financial and insurance implications, particularly with that positive genetic test result, because we know that a positive result in a healthy individual might disqualify them from getting new life insurance policies or new long-term care policies in the future. And so our recommendation is always to put those policies in place before getting that genetic testing. We do have some protections against what we call genetic discrimination. There's a federal law in the United States that was passed in 2008 called GINA, or the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act. And that gives us protections for both our health insurance and our employer. So your health insurance is protected. Health insurance cannot change your coverage or your eligibility or premiums based off genetic test results. You are not required to disclose that information to your employer. They cannot use that against you if they would find out. The exception for that, though, is if you're in the military, particularly active duty military. Many people still have privacy concerns about discrimination despite those protections, as well as the social stigma. And so at Grade Genetics, I work in telehealth, and some people come to me through that telehealth option because they're seeking a way to get genetic testing in a way where those results don't automatically end up in their medical record or things like that. There's also options for anonymous testing or testing under a pseudonym or a fake name. So, of course, there's lots of in-depth conversations that we're having. The other big piece is reproductive options and family planning, which we'll hear more about later from Amanda. And so I do want to wrap up my time saying that there are many ways to access genetic counseling and genetic testing. Our Genetic Counseling Professional Society has an online directory for Find a Genetic Counselor in your area based on zip code or telehealth providers. So my summary messages for you is the choice for whether or not to get genetic testing is a very personal decision, and I recommend genetic counseling for everyone to better understand the risks in your family and to help in that decision on whether or not genetic testing is right for you. I do expect family members to ultimately make different decisions about if to have genetic testing or what to do with those results once they have them. And my goal is always to help you understand your family history, your genetic test results better, to know what options are out there, and of course, help you figure out what's the best decision for you.